time. So I'm glad you guys are here, and for everyone listening in, I actually wanted to talk about something that I don't think we've really pushed upon before, and that's our why. I think that something that I saw on Facebook today made me decide to change the conversation that we were going to talk, the topic about today. Really mostly because for me, I think willpower, and I think I said it before, willpower to me, I think is non-existent. I think that that's kind of a really crummy word. And I feel like when people say, I don't have willpower, it almost takes, it takes your confidence away, right? And you have this sort of excuse. And I don't really think that that's the case. I think it's more of a mind shift change. So like, I don't have the willpower to wake up 15 minutes early to do a workout. That's not true. You have the ability to do it. You just are not connecting with your why. That's probably what's going on. And I don't think we've really talked about our why in depth. I know for those of you who have signed up with me in the beginning, we talked about ideally how you want to feel, maybe the number, of course, that always comes up, and that's always something we talk about. And you want to have more energy, all these basic kind of non-committal, it's nothing deep. But I really wanted to kind of get us to open up about our why. And I guess I definitely want Michelle's why to come out. Are you able to talk, Michelle, for a few minutes? Talk about like what got, yeah? Okay, cool. I'll tell you for me first, and then I'll go in, and then I'll let Michelle kind of go into her why. But so for me, it was definitely not the number in the scale that got me moving. It was that I felt really depressed, right? I felt really negative. I didn't want to be with Anthony. I didn't want to be around people. I didn't want any of it, right? And I felt like a really bad mom because I wasn't going out with Mateo, and he was getting out of Gerber food, and I didn't know how to feed him. I didn't know anything about vegetables, any of it. So for me, when I saw my really, really good friend starting to act better and feel better and seem more positive when we were both in a really crummy place, that's where my why kicked in. I was like, my why was to just want to be around people again, was to be able to feed my kid. And so for me, my why was to learn how to just live a happier life. And my girlfriend said that these shakes were helping her do it. So I was like, fuck it, I'm going to try it and see what happens. And it absolutely 100% worked in 3 weeks for me. And I started feeling better, getting the energy. And then, as you know, it all snowball affected from there. Started doing PiYo, and Chalene Johnson encouraged me every day and told me I was stronger than I thought I was, and so forth and so forth. So for me, that's what got me to remember to drink my shakes every day and got me to hit play, was because I knew that if I wasn't hitting play, then I wasn't facing Anthony's personality or Anthony's concerns the same way. I was negative when I wasn't exercising. I just wasn't able to handle the stress when I didn't exercise. And I put the 2 and 2 together pretty quickly. So I know that like when we have stresses in our life, it's an easy way to make an excuse of why you can't do a workout. But really, if you think about how you feel right after your workout, and you really take the time to realize how you're feeling throughout the day and how you handle situations, I think I almost can guarantee it, you're probably handling a situation so much better because you let all of that stress out in that workout. So that's for me. And I'm going to go ahead and mute myself, and I would love for Michelle to share. And I think it was actually kind of a perfect segue for you to talk about you coming back to your roots on the T25. And, I know that for Michelle, her story really connects with people because for her, she had an extreme weight loss. And I think that that's something that we all can say without a doubt is probably one of the hardest things that any of us could do is do an extreme weight loss. And I don't know, Michelle, if you agree with me or not about the willpower, but I don't think that willpower had much to do with your start. But I'm going to go ahead and mute myself. Take it away.
Okay, so to touch on what you were talking about regarding willpower, it's funny you bring that up, because as you're talking about it, I started thinking about it, and honestly, it wasn't really in the equation. It didn't, it had nothing to do with what I was doing, because I had a why. And my why was the fact that I was 285 pounds. I was incredibly unhealthy. I was borderline, let's just say, sick. Um, I'm a single mom, and I had my son who I could not do activities with. I couldn't do anything with him. I couldn't go upstairs. I couldn't even go to the park. Like, I could go to the park with him, but I wasn't able to be active. Um, so those things existed, but also I was miserable. I was unhappy. I did not look in a mirror. I did not look in a mirror. I had no interest in looking in a mirror. And it wasn't because I was looking at my physical. I didn't want to see myself and who I was and who I had become. And I was just an unhappy person. I withdrew from the world. And because if I was alone, I didn't have to hear anybody say to me, come on, Michelle, you got to do this. Because the truth of the matter is that people can say whatever they want to you. But what I did was I started to relate to people. And even though maybe situations were a little bit different, the bottom line was I understood the feeling. So I could relate to the feeling. Like, my why may be different than someone else's, but we could relate to the feelings. And I did not like myself, period. And I knew that I had to make a change, because I had to be there for my son. And let's say I didn't even have my son, I had to be alive for myself. I didn't feel good. I was absolutely miserable. And so how it started was, against everything I believed in the moment, everything I thought in my mind, everything I really wanted to do, I did the opposite. I just did it. I didn't think about it, because thinking was my worst enemy. And it still is to this day. Overthinking anything is the ruination of whatever it is that you're trying to do, because negative thoughts tend to fill your mind. And I'm not saying this is for everybody, but generally human nature, that's what occurs. So I stopped thinking and I took action. So I had my why, my plan, and the next step was I took action. And I didn't think of it the way that I'm explaining it now. This is just what I did. So I started out going to the gym, and I was very uncomfortable because people looked at me. I was always looked at and mocked at because I always took up a seat and a half. Um, Getting through a crowd was not comfortable. Everybody looked at me. I felt like I was an alien. And it was a horrible, horrible feeling. So going to the gym, I kind of felt that way. And I didn't want to feel that way. Like, I didn't know what to wear, because if I moved this way, it was horrible. So this is where T25 comes in, if you heard me speaking about it before. T25 with Shaun T, the alpha, beta, gamma, was the first workout that I did. Now, mind you, I was at this point, let's say 270 pounds, and I started doing this workout. I did not do the workout the way they did in the video, but what I did do was I gave it my best, and I gave it my all each and every time. I definitely did not look the way they did in the video, but I looked how I was supposed to look for where I was at in my lane. I had to stay in my lane, and I had to not compare myself to anybody else. It's the one thing that I never ever do. And it was something that I just forced myself. I said, you're just not doing this. And I didn't allow myself to think about it. Anytime I would go to think about something, I would just say, no, it's not negotiable. And every day I would tell myself, this is not negotiable. So I would go work out and start crying. And there were days I went to work out and I would eat a hamburger afterwards. but I still worked out and I kept. So I said, I'm going to do my exercise. I'm going to drink my Shakeology. Guess what? I did it every day. Guess what? I had Cheetos after my workout sometimes. And other times I had Oreos. I'm not even going to lie to you. Or I picked things to eat. But eventually what happened was I started to feel better. And as I felt better, I eliminated these foods. Not completely, but let's say instead of eating a bag of Cheetos, I would buy maybe, and we're talking like the standard $3 bag, I would maybe buy a 25-cent bag. But I reduced and I cut down on the habits that I had. But I was still working out and I was still drinking my Shakeology. And it was because I knew and I told myself, this is it, because I started to feel better. When you weigh that much, you don't really see the results right away. And especially with how uncomfortable you feel with yourself, it's when I saw myself in a mirror or I even remotely looked at myself, I was maybe bigger than I was when I started because of how I felt. It's a mental thing. So as time went on, all I knew is I kept feeling better. I was walking faster, going upstairs. I chased my son. And these were the things that proved to me that I was on the right path. And never comparing myself. I tell myself every morning in the mirror, this is what I do. I haven't really shared this much because I think I look a little silly. But one of the things that I've done, positive affirmations. Positive affirmations. They went from I like myself to I love myself to this is unconditional self-love. And now what I do is I wake up and I go in the mirror and I say, you're amazing. You've got this. And guess what? I don't always wake up feeling like that. But if I tell myself that, eventually throughout the day, I do. So this, over the years, through my changes and my weight loss, I really can't put into words how I feel because it's almost euphoric. The fact that I never gave up and I never quit, and believe me, I fell off, a week I fell off, or, a day I fell off, or 2 weeks I fell off, I always came back. And I always came back to the point where this is now my lifestyle. This is how I live. I work out every day and I push myself because I know how I feel when I do. And what I can tell you is, and I'm going to repeat this, do not compare yourself. Never, ever quit. I don't care if you went to Popeyes tonight and you had Popeyes for dinner and you wake up tomorrow, guess what? And you have your shake again. That's right. Because it was in the moment. It was a moment where you made a decision that may not have been the best decision, but that doesn't determine anything. That doesn't determine your future. That is something you did in the moment. And I guarantee after you ate that, you probably didn't feel great because it is known, it's factual, that when you eat in certain fatty foods, it kind of brings you down. It's just what happens. But the support from these groups that I've gained and being surrounded by other people that have the same intention. All of our stories are different, our whys are different, but the bottom line is that there's a reason we're here. We want to feel better. Because the truth is that the transformation for me started within. If I didn't transform inside, I would not have had a physical transformation. My heart and soul transformed, and it is because I never gave up, ever, no matter what happened. So, I don't want to take up all the time, but I do want you to know that this is my passion in life. This is from my heart and my soul. I believe 100% that every person that I encounter can do this, whether it's 10 pounds, 100 pounds, because I've lost, at this point, I'm at 110 pounds. I fluctuate with the 5 pounds. So, but I never thought I'd be able to do this, but that's because I lived in the moment. I went day by day, and the days added up to weeks, and the weeks added up to months, and the months added up to years. And look at me now. I've never felt better in my life. I'm going to be 39 this year. I've never felt better. I've never looked better. And I've never been the best me, the best me that I could be than I am right now. I'm better to people. I'm nicer. I'm a nicer person because I'm happy with myself. When I wasn't happy with myself, I wasn't nice to other people. I apologize to everyone. I had to apologize to everyone. But it's almost like a recovery process. Even like I said, even if it's 10 pounds, 15 pounds, it's how you feel about you. And that is the bottom line. You have to feel good and love yourself. And I guarantee you that the more you do, your life will change. It's just how it goes. I've lived this. I am proof in the pudding that this works. I've tried so many other things and they didn't work for me because I was trying to get a physical transformation. And that's not how this works. You cannot have longevity with something if you don't know your why. And I know why. I know why I'm here and what it is that I need. And my why kind of fluctuates sometimes. There's always a base, but things add to it as the years go on and I start to transform. So thank you for letting me share that with you. I don't want to take up all the time, but just never quit. That's what I have to say. I'll say it over and over.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of where, for me, I wanted to, everyone to just rehear your story, because I think that's a big deal. Don't think that you don't have willpower. It's not that. You have all the power. If anyone has the power, it is you. So it's just about how you're reacting every day and how you're preparing. Now, if you're not a big meal prepper, that's totally fine. Michelle and I, we're talking about it, and we really want to hone into meal prepping. I think next week, like really start getting, like showing our personal videos and sharing like how we go to the supermarket and what we pick and, you know, the size of our family, and kind of go into that a little bit more, because a lot of it is just preparing, you know, preparing yourself. Megan, you and I were on that chat where Molly's mom, and I forget her name right now, shame on me, but Molly's mom's friend, Molly's mom shared the whole, you know, I feel like crap if I eat like crap. And, you know, they were talking about willpower, and that word really fired me up, because it's not that, you know, it's about preparing. So, you know, if it means that you just buy a bunch of frozen vegetables and that's what you're going to eat to microwave in at work, and just bring, you know, salt, pepper, and garlic powder, that's what you do. You know, it's simple. It's quick. It's not about willpower. It's literally just about picking up a bag that's $1. Go ahead.
Can I share something real quick? So just to share very quickly, I am very big on that. I do buy fresh vegetables. I buy a ton of frozen, and I if you saw my freezer, you'd laugh. It's all vegetables. My son just laughs at me all the time. But I have tons of vegetables, and what I do is I know me, so what I do is I buy fresh veggie burgers and frozen veggie burgers. At my job, I keep them in the freezer because I cannot take a chance of not my food. Because can't always do fresh. It's the truth. I'd love to. My life doesn't work out that way. But what I do is I always have veggies, and I always have bananas. Like I have my go-tos. And one thing I never do, I never buy any bad food that I love and keep it in my house.
Yes, I wanted to mention that. That's so true. I have the problem where my husband, especially lately, because he's been trying to give up ice cream because it's been in the house. And so instead he's replaced it with potato chips. And let me tell you, lime chips, this flaxseed chips. And now I gave all that up because it turns out I'm having a gluten intolerance. And I'm like, all right, I'm not going to eat this, obviously, because it's making me feel bad. What does my beautiful, wonderful, caring husband do? he went out and found me gluten-free potato chips and brings home potato chips that are potatoes, peanut oil, and salt, and I don't know, something.
Oh my God.
Yes. And he's been bringing 2 bags at a time of that. So there's plenty for me, plenty for me to have, and I'm going to tell you right now, I go for it, but this is what I do when I want it, when I'm craving. Oh, and you know what else? The Reese's Pieces, but peanut butter cups, that our kids got for Easter. So I literally took an entire bag. And when Anthony's friends were over the other day, I took basically a whole ShopRite bag. It was heavy. I gave it away. I still have some in the house for the boys, and I'll have half of one after I've eaten all of my vegetables, my carbs. Obviously, I'm talking about lunch at this point, and I have it before 5 o'clock. I need it, right? I know I need my chocolate, but I limit what I'm having. I have one piece of chocolate. That's it. I own it. It's totally like it's happening, because if I don't, and I try to tell myself, no, then in my mind, I'm struggling. But if I give myself a little bit, even the potato chips, it's either one or the other. If I give it to myself, that's it. That's what I'm having. And I know there's going to be plenty of more for tomorrow, and I'll have a little bit tomorrow. And every day it gets less and less. Most of the time my husband gets the point and doesn't bring a whole bag.
Can I say something, Kat?
Yeah.
So one of the things that I love to do, that this is my treat, is I make a shake. I'm really excited about this because I love this. So what I do is I make a shake, and there's cookies called Larry and Lenny's cookies. They're vegan cookies, and they are protein based. They are unbelievable. They have double chocolate. So what I do is I make a shake with bananas and peanut butter, and I take half a cookie. Let me tell you, if I have any type of craving, after that, bananas, peanut butter in my shake with half of a double chocolate cookie.
Yeah.
So there are alternatives. Like,
Yeah.
You can find, different, because for me, if I had Reese's Pieces, I'm just saying, or Reese's peanut butter cups, I might have to, have quite a few of them. But
yeah, I can limit it.
But different things work for different people.
Yeah.
But for myself, is cookies with the shake.
Yeah.
It's
unbelievable. So what I'm thinking is, well, for I'll segment it back into where I wanted to take this for a second, but what I'm thinking is for next week, what I wanted to ask you guys to do was I'll probably put I'll put a post up tonight. Tell us what your weaknesses are. So for me, it's the chocolate. Like, I need my chocolate, and I actually do Shakeology balls, but and I love them, and they're so easy and so good. And so, like, if yours is a Reese's Pieces, or yours is, let's say, cookies, ice cream, what is it? Ice cream and cream, cookies and cream. You know what I'm talking about, right? So, like, for everybody, just share what your weaknesses are, so that Michelle and I can come up with the healthy alternative to help you kind of get through that for the next couple of weeks and really just combat it. Again, I'm a big believer that you should have something, but a healthy alternative is always best. But that's the first thing that I wanted to mention, and preparing for next week. But for tonight, what I really wanted to ask you guys to do between now and I guess like Monday, if everyone can put it up on Monday, or think about it by Monday, I want you to get deep. I want you to just take some time. I mean, it can be right now. It can be in the shower, in the car, just when you're alone. And I want you to really think about why you invested with Michelle, with myself, with Beachbody, with Shakeology, with going to the gym in the first place, with just hitting play. Like, why are you really trying to make a difference? Because this is different, right? We're all changing something. And I want you to really think about it. And I want you to connect. If it's not hitting you in the gut and making you a little nervous to share with me or with Michelle, then you're not going deep enough. Okay? You need to say, like, I am scared I won't get to see my grandkids, go to high school. I really, really am worried about my marriage, like my situation, because I am just not feeling comfortable and I don't even want him to touch me. Anything and whatever it is, I want you to get deep with it, and I want you to share it with your coach at least by Monday. I'm not asking you to share it with the group just yet, because I really want you to get personal, and I know you guys don't know each other that much, or that well, I should say. But in the group, I do want you to just let us know, like, I got deep, I shared. Because you got to remember, if you do it, like me and Michelle, we've been doing this, and we've been at this 2 to 4 years, right? So this is something we've been continuously doing. But if you don't start doing it and getting into the habit of really connecting with your why, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to start falling off in the summer. Because if you haven't gotten to your goal, or when the kids are out of school and you're scrambling and trying to figure out all these other things, you're not going to be in that place where connecting to a why is getting you out of bed early. So that's like a real big assignment I really want you guys to do for me, and for Michelle by Monday. And another thing is, and I wanted to read it, I was looking for it. Yeah. So I don't know if you guys know Napoleon Hill, incredible motivational speaker, entrepreneur, just amazing man. And something that he teaches his students, I'll say, is to be intentional with their lives. And one of the little projects that he had his students do at seminars was to say 50 times, with first thing you wake up, you say, do it now, do it now, do it now. 50 times when you wake up. And then again at night, do it now, do it now, do it now. Say it 50 times, both morning and night, to yourself, every single day for the next 30 days. I want you to start doing that tonight. And I want you to see where in your mind will start to change. And you'll see that the things that maybe were more difficult, like getting up when your alarm hits, rings at 5 o'clock in the morning or what have you, and that's when you're trying to work out. Or when you get home and you're exhausted and you still have to work out, but you're exhausted from the day. If you have that habit, you will help yourself to start doing it. And I'm going to tell you guys, I started doing this last week, and I've been waking up early. And even if I haven't done my workout, I'm doing all the things I need to do so that in the afternoon I can do my workout. So it's already helping me. I've been doing it not even 7 days. So I wanted to just share that with you guys. I'll let you close out, Michelle, but does anybody have anything that they wanted to just ask or share? You can hit unmute. Actually, let me unmute everyone just in case. All right, I'll give you guys a minute to see if you guys had any questions. Is there anything that you guys are, I guess, in need of? I know I did put up the meal plan. I don't know if you guys found it in the file section. Mm-hmm. Okay. Hello? Okay, guess not. So Michelle, if you wanted to close it out, we've got the last, I think, 6 minutes or 7 minutes. God, I need glasses.
Okay.
Are you excited about the do it now? Because I'm telling you right now, it really helped me. You could tell Michelle lives in New York. I will say there was a bright light behind you before, and I was like, oh my God, it's like a scary movie. And you see the killer behind you.
It's great. I don't know what it was, but some sort of creature. Great. I guess I'll meet him up at the stoop. So I want to piggyback what you were saying, and one of the hashtags that I use constantly is change your mindset, change your life. And the bottom line and is that when you alter or if you say something to yourself 50 times in the morning and 50 times at night, it's going to change your mindset. It will cause you to believe what it is that you're saying to yourself. It's almost like you're convincing yourself because you do believe it, but you're a little skeptical about it. But when you do that, when you do have these positive affirmations, because the truth of the matter is, it's all about mindset. It's all about mindset. If you believe that you can do something, you will do it. Think of things that you've wanted in your life, that it was non-negotiable, you're getting it, and you got it. We've all had this happen to us because we've all had things that we've really, really wanted. This is the same thing, but we convince ourselves it's too hard, it's too this, it's too that. I promise you, it's not. 50, just like Kat said, 50 times in the morning, 50 times at night, you repeat something enough to yourself, you will believe it. And the reason I know is because I do it all the time. All the time. If I am doubtful about something, I truly go in the mirror and I remind myself who it is that I am and what my purpose is and my why. Because there is nobody can change me but me. I can't make my life better. Nobody can make my life better. I have to do that for myself.
Yeah.
And I do that every day. And every day I'm a better me than I was the day before. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you something, I know we have a few minutes left, but for me, being a good mom and being nice to my son, I know that sounds horrible, but when I wasn't happy, I wasn't like, I was very agitated all the time. And I realized that, and I had to change that immediately. Like I have so much patience with my son, over the past several years, because I've changed myself and with other people. My mindset is just different. I look at things differently. I look at myself differently. I am imperfectly perfect. I have flaws. I've lost 110 pounds. I have flaws. There, all over the place. Am I closer to my goal? Absolutely. But that's because I don't give up. And mind you, I've had longevity with this. This is something that I told myself I am never going back. And that's one of my affirmations. It's, Michelle, you're never going back. You don't have those clothes in your closet.
Yeah.
But
I think we should, that's going to be another challenge I'll do this week. And I'm going to give a prize to the person who shares their affirmations, additional to do it now every day. I want to hear your affirmations, and I will send, I'm going to send over one of my favorite, so like literally this is right in front of me. Like I have things like this in front of me all the time. Be brave, follow your own arrow, focus on the good, all these random things. So I'm going to send something like that to the person who shares their affirmations more. And I'll come up with like a way to, I don't know, figure out the point system on that. But I just wanted to end this call on that really positive, just, connect with your why, guys. We are here for each other. If you want to share your why in the group, I more than encourage it. But as long as you share it with either myself or Michelle directly, because when you start having things happen, especially in the next month, I'm going to try to connect you back to that. So remember, make sure your why is getting you in the gut, getting you a little choked up. And if you want to work on it this weekend, go ahead. But I want it by Monday. I'm going to school teacher you guys. I want it by Monday. Ladies, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. Go enjoy. I obviously have to figure out what's going on behind me. It sounds like a war zone back there. But I love you, ladies. Bye.